This episode is going to be about the songwriter's woodshed. So what am I talking about? What is the woodshed? What is woodshedding? For those of you that may not be musicians, you might not know what woodshedding is. It's when you basically, steal away and spend a lot of time by yourself with your instrument and just practice and rehearse for long hours. Maybe you're working on one piece of music that's really challenging and you do it over and over and over and over again. Or maybe you're learning a new discipline, maybe you're learning a new style, but you're practicing over and over and over again. If you're a professional musician, you don't get a lot of time to practice. If you're out on the road, for example, we do sound checks, we play the gig, that's good for us. We're playing music, but it's not the same as back in the day, like when I was younger and I had hours and hours to practice. I could be more regular and more disciplined, and frankly, I'm a grown-up now. I got a lot of things to do, so it's a lot harder to commit to daily practice, a daily routine. So what I tend to do is, at certain points in the year, I will say, it's woodshed time. I'm going back to the woodshed, and I'm going to close myself into a room or close myself into the back of the tour bus, and I'm going to spend time with a book. Maybe it's a jazz book or a guitar grimoire. That's a scale book that's got all these scales that kind of make fretboard logic. Something like that. I'll spend hours and hours trying to develop my skills as a guitar player. Now, here's the thing. Most of the stuff that I practice when I'm woodshedding, you'll never hear it. I'm not going to go out on stage and start ripping solos all of a sudden. That's not why I'm doing it. Likewise, I might woodshed and learn a complicated jazz guitar piece that is way out of my league. I'm not going to play that in a show, and I'm not going to start writing jazz music. That's not why I'm in the woodshed. I'm doing that stuff so that I can open myself up creatively and have new options and hear new things. So let me give you an example of the way the woodshed can tend to work for me. About this time last year, I was woodshedding on the back of the bus. We were on tour. I didn't have much else to do. I felt like, all right, I want to spend 3 or 4 hours every day just practicing some jazz guitar. I am not a jazz guitarist, but I enjoy learning it because it always presents me with new challenges, and I start hearing new possibilities. This book's actually the one that I've been woodshedding in most recently, Complete Jazz Guitar Method. Man, this thing is a doozy. The beginning of it's kind of fundamental. I use it kind of as a review, of some fundamentals. And then I get into some of the more complicated progressions, some of the chord substitutions, the inversions all up and down the fretboard. It's pretty cool. So one evening I was on the back of the bus, and I was working with this progression right here. I was doing that. And then I got tired of doing it after a while. Like, all right, I figured, all right, I'm done woodshedding. Now I'm just going to mess around. And when I messed around, I did this. And I started hearing a rhythmic possibility. And I started hearing a melody. At the time, I was in Brooklyn. I'd been away from home for a while. I was homesick. So what I heard was this. Uh-oh. I wish I was home with you. It's awful lonely here in Brooklyn. I love New York, there's so much to see here, baby. But lately I don't feel like looking. Then I got stuck. With these jazz chords, I'm not operating in a language that I really understand like I do when I'm working with more, traditional chords and more popular chords. While I started with that idea with these, what I think are really beautiful chords, I moved on to something a little more standard, a little simpler, and I changed the key. I felt like I could sing the song better in the key of F, and so I ended up going to this, which is just a 6 minor, 5, and a 1. Pretty simple. I wish I was home with you. And then when I'm working in the key of F and I'm working with chords that I'm more familiar with, I can then start to tailor the song to something that's more manageable to me, and I feel like I can be more expressive with. You're where I wish I was. If I had the choice, I'd be jumping a plane right now. And you'd be on your way to come pick me up as soon as the wheels touch down. You're where I wish I was, but it's out of my hands. It ain't in the cards home. But I thought you should know. You're where I wish I was. Now here's interesting. This is interesting. So, going back to that. You're where I wish I was. If I had the choice, I'd be jumping a plane right now. And you'd be on your way to come pick me up. I can sing the same melody over the top of that. That's the beautiful thing about woodshedding, and not being afraid to go explore other things and go down avenues that you might not even think there's much of a practical application to it. But it's as an artist, you want to take all that stuff in and see what happens with it. For me, the chord progressions and the individual notes in each one of those chords is having an impact on what I'm hearing melodically. And that progression, even though it's not what I play in the recording, and will probably never play it again, other than this video, it's what inspired the song. My guitar inspired the song, along with the conditions I was in at that point. Locked inside of a small room working on my guitar, away from home in Brooklyn. It was cold and crappy outside. All those things worked together to inspire the song. But I wrote it while I was in the woodshed. No matter where you are on your journey as a guitar player or a songwriter, I encourage you to go into the woodshed. There's always going to be an area that you haven't mastered, or an area that kind of intimidates you. You don't quite have an understanding of it yet. That's where you need to be working. There's some really cool things that happen when you're outside of your comfort zone experimenting with new ideas. So thanks for joining me. So thanks for joining me in the Songwriter's Woodshed. I hope you found this informative. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the YouTube channel. Look forward to seeing you all again soon. Take care.